Alright, so I guess we'll do a little video. Been a while since I did one. Not sure what's changed and what hadn't. Of course, the 12. No more 13 for me. Alright, so the big thing that we changed here recent, y'all know, some of you know I had the Android Auto. It's gone back to the Garmin because my Android Auto stopped powering up, the screen stopped coming on. It was a LBW was the brand name. It was 6 1/4, 6.25 inch, and just died. And it's a lot of work. I'm gonna tell you, that thing had cameras, so I had to pull all that off. Fortunately, Amazon said they'd take it back. It was only like 3 or 4 months old, so they gave me a credit, so I had to send it back. But went back with the DriveSmart 66. I missed it. Definitely could see the screen on the 66 so much better than the Android Auto. This one, just in my opinion, is a lot better. It does what it needs to do. It doesn't do everything that an Android Auto does or an Apple CarPlay, but it does a lot. And we've been through the features. Maybe I'll do another video after this, run through the features again, but definitely glad I changed it. We got our camera system back in here, which is a V-Sisto, I think, or something. Otherwise, we're pretty much all the same. No real changes. Still kind of got that circus headlight. I like that headlight. Of course, we got rid of the turn signal stalk, so I don't have a turn signal anymore. Down there, we mounted the, I always say I mounted the turn signals just straight to the fairing. Now be careful if you were thinking about doing this. I've got a pretty thick piece of plastic on the inside to try to absorb some of the torque, tightening it down so I don't crack anything. Because you definitely don't want to crack that fairing if you were doing that. I think I'm going to shut this off for a second. Well, before I do, might not crank it back. These are the True Duals. Okay, so this is the full exhaust system from Shark Roads. So as you can see, this is not the factory headers. This is the whole system. So it's a full exhaust system. Really good deal. Anybody thinking about getting Shark Roads? Let me rev it one time and then we'll call it a day. So now you're gonna hear this beep or something. So that's the camera. Said goodbye, my little Chinese people. So the Shark Roads, if you're gonna get something from Shark Roads, I'd just say kind of get the full system. I mean, it's not much more. Let me tell you something about Shark Roads. When you price everything, that's it. They're not charging you sales tax, and they're not charging you shipping. So whatever that number is, that's it. And if you can find a 15% coupon, which there is a discount code available out there. There's actually one at the top of the Facebook group, VVV, Kawasaki, how does it even go? Kawasaki Vulcan Voyager Vaquero 1700 group. If you want to join, there's a lot of people there. There's about 17,000. So it's a pretty big group. But if you go to the top, there's some coupon codes for a lot of different things that are Voyager and Vaquero related, as far as audio stuff, exhaust stuff, just some other things as well. So that's those pipes. Looks like I need to clean them. Note to self, don't touch hot pipes because they are hot. The only thing I don't like about the Shark Roads is, you see right here, there's some smut, there's some exhausts. that builds up through the crack for some reason. I'd like to do away with that, but that's the only problem I've got really with them. Once you get them on, you may have to modify them a little bit to make them fit, but it's not a hard gig if you did it. Somehow this has turned into an exhaust video. Not sure how. Alright, so anyway, that is the bike, y'all. Air cleaner, of course, that's something kind of custom. Of course, they make air cleaners that are ready to fit. Roaring Toys makes one. Just don't like the way that they look, so by doing it this way, I've got the see-through, so you can see in there. Of course, we're doing the front wheel. That's a 19. A lot of people are like, well, this is 21. No, it's not a 21. That is a 19-inch wheel. The good thing with the 19 is you're not going to have to lift your fender. You're not going to have to do any riser lifting here. You are going to have to modify the wheel. Well, you got two options. I like to hold up fingers. Two options. Two options. You can modify the wheel, and the only thing you're trying to accomplish is you're trying to get your brake rotor to line up with your brake caliper. That's the whole reason for modifying. You're going to have to do something with spacers, because you will have to either get some made or get yours cut or something. Something's going to have to happen with spacers. For me, I bought these off of eBay. A machine shop could probably do it. That's aircraft aluminum, and the guy, probably about $20 or so, I'm thinking, for both of them. But he'll cut them to whatever spec you want them to, as far as width. Your other option for this is, instead of working on the wheel with making these rotors fit, you can just take it off of your forks here. Take it to a machine shop, let them take, I believe it's 1/8 of an inch, don't quote me. I believe it's 1/8 of an inch. You're gonna have to lose, so that this caliper will come just a little bit towards you. Just a little towards you. 1/8 of an inch. And that way it'll fit in without any trouble. Alright, enough about that. We're doing the chrome. This is, who makes the chrome? We always go through this problem. It'll come to me later, y'all. Sorry. We got the Amazon type lights. This particular pair that I'm using is really a lot better than some that I've seen. They've got their wiring so that it doesn't pinch, and it's put together a lot better. Those are Kuriokin pegs. This is switchblades, so they open and close for the heel portion, which it's not the best design because they're so straight. I guess in retrospect, if you were to make this, you'd want the heel to kind of angle a little bit. Would probably have been a much better design for them. Mostly for looks for me, because like I said, my heel's not that straight. The lights for a Jeep JK Wrangler automobile. 4.5 inch lights are made by LX Light. You could do something with the heel toe if you wanted to. Kuriokin probably make something for it. These are Kuriokin flame boards. They pretty much discontinued. You may be able to find some just at some overstock type suppliers, but they've been discontinued probably 4 years now. So if you can find them, I'd grab them. These are Kuriokins as well. The whole system's discontinued. They're still making the board, but I'm pretty sure they discontinued this portion a couple of years ago, which I thought it was a great design. I don't know why they discontinued it, but the board is still available. It's also available in black, chrome or black. I'm missing a piece on mine, one of the chrome strips if you want. What else we got going on? Of course, I did a subwoofer. That's an 8-inch sub. Some people ask, I guess, how it got done. I've had some people ask. So, I think I did a video about it, but basically all it is I used I used the interior mount, the plastic mount. So I lost the chrome outer piece, kept the inside, gutted it a little bit, and basically fiberglassed it up. That's fiberglass. The top's fiberglass. All the sides pretty much fiberglass. Little secret, the front right there, I zoomed out as far as I can. The front is actually a cutting board, if you can believe it. That is probably a 1/2 inch cutting board, or about something like that, thick wise. But all this face is a cutting board. And it's bolted up somehow. I don't even remember exactly how I did it, but it's bolted together, and then the fiberglass around the edges to put it all into a solid piece. And then we've still got the mounting points behind this speaker, just like factory, because we're using the factory interior. I can still bolt it 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 3 bolt, I think it is, for this to hold on. So that's what's attaching it to the frame. This is a Kicker chrome speaker cover, which it surely wouldn't look right without it. Surely wouldn't look right without it. A lot of people think it's an air cleaner, but it is not. Alright, vinyl. Of course we did some vinyl. That's just straight from eBay. That's just vinyl graphics. Somebody on eBay made that up there. Let's Ride. One of those, sign makers type things. You just tell them what you want, they'll send it to you. So that's just black gloss vinyl put on, and then on top of that we've got our signage. Of course, you can do whatever you want. If you want to say Granny on there, you can make it say Granny. I don't care. 6.5 speakers here in the bags. If you're gonna do 6.5, what I got here is I've got a adapter. I've got a 5 1/4 to 6.5 adapter. What that means is the hole is actually made for a 5 1/4 speaker. 5 1/4 speaker. So the mounting holes for screws to attach the adapter is actually 5 1/4 size. It then gets larger at the top so that you can attach your 6.5 inch speaker and not have to basically have extra space there, extra real estate to make it work. So that's what it is. You can probably see it better like that. So this part is a spacer. Now the bad thing with these spacers, you are going to overhang a little bit on the back right there. And if you look at the front, if you look at the sign, it is straight. Of course, these concave down, so there's an angle. So that's the reason this chrome trim is there. There's actually a gap behind that trim, so you have to get kind of creative when you're doing this kind of stuff. We hide it. A lot of things get hidden. But if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. So that's that. This one had a rack when I bought it. So this is a 12. I bought it probably 6-7 months ago, I guess. Maybe more, something. Probably November of last year. November, December, somewhere in there. But anyway, it came with a rack. So hated the rack. Hated it. Not a rack guy, really not. So what I did is I just pulled the rack off, and we just needed to seal out the holes that were there. Of course, could do paint and body work and do it, but don't want to put that kind of money into it. So just bolted it up. It's not going to leak. Got rubber gasket washers underneath it, so no leakage. Light bar. That's a Kawasaki bar. Okay, not sure what the model is. Discontinued. Probably 4 or 5 years ago. What happened at the time, I could buy these things dirt cheap. I found somebody that just, it must have been around Christmas time. They just wanted to get rid of inventory. End of the year. Boom. Just want it gone. I bought a whole case of them, a dozen of them. I think I still got 1 or 2. But that fits pretty good. The only problem is the license plate holder doesn't come with it. So you got to buy that separate. And that piece, Temu's the answer for that piece. Anybody that wants to do this, you go to Temu and get a. That's where this one came from. That's actually a Temu part. Probably like 30 bucks I think I gave for that curved. It's actually curved. For that curved plate holder. Bag lights, another Amazon item. Flexible. At nighttime they really come in handy. A little piece of chrome underneath it makes it look like it was supposed to be there. And it blends in pretty well. It doesn't stick out so much. And of course, wiring. You've got to remember, all this stuff does take power, so you got to be creative when you're going to wire this stuff. So just remember a couple of things when it goes to wiring. Electrical tape. I don't want to spend $10 on electrical tape, but if you want good electrical tape, you probably need to spend some money. Mine starts to lose its effectiveness and stickiness after a while. But when it comes to wiring, you got to be kind of creative. Remember, you're going to want to take these bags off, so I recommend you get something that's either screwable, or something that's clippable that will allow you to pull it apart and put it back together. So that's that. And that's what the speaker did look like on the inside. I think I got some pods or something there. Not pods, what do you call it? Just casings, I guess. I don't know what you call those things. For protection, it gives you a little bit of baffle. I guess you call it baffle. So that's that. Another eBay thing, just some graphics. Guys, I think we've almost been through everything. Another long video. Of course, this is the seat off the 13, so I still got my tweeters in the seat. I actually haven't even hooked them up yet, but you know what? Rather than putting them down here, that seat was probably a great idea, because it really adds to me a look of factory to it. And hey, all that is you're gonna have to cut the seat, a little X on it or something, stick them in, and if you want to screw them down, if you got something to screw them to, great. If not, some 3M trim adhesive or something in there, hold that together. It's not going anywhere. And of course, these rock back and forth, so they'll go whichever direction you want, down or up. And of course, if you wanted to mount them, you can make them go in left and right, up, down, 12 to 6, 3 to 9, whatever you want. Grips. Good looking set of grips. They are not Oxfords. That says Oxford. These are not Oxfords. What the deal with these is, you could buy these. These are show chrome. And you can buy them pretty cheap. Or you could for a while. I don't know if they're still as cheap. But Amazon had these show chromes. Of course, you need 1 inch. Is what it's going to take is 1 inch. They had these show chromes for $22 a set. Terrible reviews. Terrible reviews. And I would give a bad review as well. The reason I would give a bad review is because the controller quit working. Probably a month or 2 in. And that's the reason you see the Oxford controller. But as far as heating elements and the grip itself, it's fine. But the controller's pretty cheap. And it will probably stop on you. So that took care of that. Still works. Nothing but a simple controller. Alright, so Greg, how did you mount that to the bar like that? Nothing to it. Gorilla tape. If you look down there, nothing but Gorilla Tape. That's all that's holding it. It's got a little bit of movement. Gorilla Tape will hold 10, 15 pounds, somewhere in that range. If you get the heavy duty, it's been on there a very long time, and I don't think it's going anywhere unless I pull it off, which I'm not gonna do. TPMS. This one's old, guys. This thing's I think I saw on Amazon. I bought this back in 2018 or 19. The battery's pretty much done now. It won't really hold a charge, so that's the reason you see this USB plugged into it. I'd imagine the battery for the head unit there is probably good for, I don't know, 3-4 years, I guess. Might be able to replace that battery. I don't know. They don't make this particular brand on Amazon anymore. You can still buy it through some of those other Chinese websites, but they do make one exactly like this, called Psychic or something like that. Exact same unit, just a different name branded on it. Probably going to get one of those. About $50, $49.99 I think is what they're running. And I recommend this particular one because it works, number one, and it's got a good flash. It's got a beep tone to it. If you need to see anything, you can set your own parameters for low pressure, high pressure. You set a parameter for tire temperature. There's a bunch of parameters you can set, and once it starts to go below what you've set it for, it is going to flash. It'll also do an alarm type set where if you're losing pressure really fast, it's going to flash red and blue. Almost like, hey, your heart's just quitting. You know, you're at the hospital and it's giving you a flash, so you know, hey, something's wrong, I need to pull over. And the reason I did this is because way back in the day I did have a tire go flat and I did wreck, did crash. So probably could have held it together without the wife on the back and the passenger seat, but gets the extra weight on the back. Rear tire, it actually came off the rim, and that's probably one of the other reasons it went down. The bead just, it let go and the whole wheel came off, but whole tire rubber came off the wheel. It made it pretty difficult at 50 and 60 miles an hour to control. So it did go down. Thought I was going to die that day. I did not die, thank you God. Still here. Handlebars. Man, there's some other people in the handlebar business now. It used to be you only had 1 or 2 companies in the handlebar business, and they were getting you. They wanted $200 for a set of handlebars or more. Last bike, of course, I did Harley Davidson bars on the last one because at the time there was just no affordable way to use factory, factory risers to make it work. But now some other people have come on from China. Hey, you know what? Some people don't like China. You think they make crap. I'm sure China does make some crap, but I'm going to be honest, most of the things made in America, they were made in China. So just somebody slapping their name on it. I ain't going to say what lighting company comes to mind, but there is one lighting company that comes to mind with a lifetime warranty, but their warehouse is nothing but a shipping and receiving warehouse. It's all manufactured in China. So these bars, got them for $130 on eBay. These are 14s, meat hanger style, with the gussets holes. So 14 inches what I've got. Can't tell you how the factory is going to work out with it because I'm on stainless steel lines. I very seriously doubt 14s and factory brake lines are going to work. Your electrical, you're not going to have any problem electrical wise with 14s, but brake lines you're probably going to have problems. I'd add at least 2 or 3 inches to each side. A little extra, you can figure out a way to get rid of it. So I'd go longer rather than not have enough. I'm thinking I did an extra 3 inches on the clutch, and I'm thinking I did like 2 inches extra on the front brake. I can't remember. Don't quote me. Don't go by my numbers. You go by what you think you need. Mirrors are Kuriakins. Boo! I say huh? Somebody will say something about me saying Cup holder. Cup holder's been on there for a while on the last bike. That is for a bicycle. And the reason that I got that is because I thought, man, I want something that I can pull off and put on, and it makes it easy to do because it's velcroed on one holder, one and one. So you got a total of 3 things holding that on. I'll leave it on there anymore because it doesn't even bother me. But it is insulated. Of course, my insulation's starting to fall apart, but it is insulated. And you can hold a pretty big cup in there. It'll also draw up if you wanted to. You got adjustability to make it widen or shrink. Of course, you're not going to hold a cup of coffee in there or anything, but I haven't had any trouble with pretty much anything. Big slushy or anything, I can pretty much get it in there. Of course, the GPS we talked about, I think I'm going to do another video on the GPS, so look for that if you're interested. Talk about the grips. That's part of the camera system. What that does with the camera is if you want to save video, you hit one of these buttons, it's going to save it. It won't rewrite over it. The other is you can take a photo. Can I say photo? It seems like I said that very southernly there for a second. You can take a photograph. With that'll stay on the SD card. So that's probably it, guys. The seat was done by a guy local. If anybody wants any seat work done, I could definitely give you his name and number. This is actually lower. I don't know if you can tell, but it's more of a Corbin type seat. He just made it up for me. Wouldn't mind it so much if we went back in and took a little bit more off the back side. But it definitely sits you pretty low. Also got heaters on the driver, also the passenger heater for passenger. So if you're ever getting seat work done, I'd buy a seat pad and put it on there. They're pretty cheap, 20 bucks maybe for a heated seat, just for the parts. Amazon. That pad that's in there, it's going strong. I haven't had any trouble with it. So while you're going in, whatever you want to do, you need to get done. So guys, I guess that's it. I guess we really pretty much went through just about everything. Speaker pods, of course these are 6.5s. Of course, engineered adapters, I'll give them a plug. Engineered adapters, they've got a lot of parts that are going to help you do a system on your bike. So they've got these that roll out 6.5s, and they look pretty factory. So they really blend in pretty well. And of course the faceplate, if you do an aftermarket radio, you're going to need the trim kit. So they've got that as well, the trim kit that's going to close everything together. A lot of people ask about the GPS and how it got mounted. Got another video about it, guys. There's, if you look at my windshield, I'm not scared to drill into my windshield. So there are some people that are scared. I'm not scared. This windshield, we didn't talk about the windshield. This windshield's like $20, $30, somewhere in that range. It's for a Harley. You're going to have to modify it some if you wanted to use something like this. Don't know if you can see right here, but if you look closely, you'll actually see some remnants of the windshield. So what it is you got to trim some of the windshield off, and you got to drill two or three. You might have to drill all the holes except for the center. Yeah, you might have to. It's a pretty simple process. I mean, it's nothing to it, but if you want to be unique, that's what it's all about. You want your own style. This is what it takes. At least for me. Not many people have what I have on this bike. There's very few. And if they have it on the bike, it's a good possibility because they saw it on my bike. But this is got 3 holes here, bolted up, and there's a ball on the other side from Archon or Ram Mount or somebody. So that's what these 3 holes are actually holding on, is that ball, 1-inch ball. From there, that 1-inch ball has got an arm. So the arm's about this long, maybe somewhere in there. So it's attaching to the ball. And on the back of the GPS is another 1-inch ball. So we're using that arm to hook. Now, this last bolt is actually just for stabilization. I'm going through this pouch with that bolt. So it's going in here and it's holding it pretty tight, so there's no movement. So that's basically how it's all put together. This is actually also holding pouches in, because they would hang a little bit lower. Had that bolt not been there, they'd kind of be even lower. So that kind of holds them up as well. So I haven't had any trouble. Listen, when you do this, just make it a little bit larger than the bolt size. That's the big thing, because you don't want this to crack. Remember, when the heat comes, this plastic wants to expand, and when the cold comes, this plastic wants to contract. So you need to be careful with that, especially on the cold part. Make sure that hole's a little bit bigger, and don't make your bolts so tight, just tight enough. So that way you can get that expansion and contraction. Rubber seals might help also with that. Of course, there is a LED kit on this bike, guys. There's another video that shows that. But looking at it, I'll get you up close. I don't think you can really see anything that would indicate, other than the wire. If you know what that wire is, it might indicate. And I've got an off-on switch for it also. So the good thing with this is a ground switch. So as soon as I kick it, I don't lose any memory. So whatever the last feature was that these lights were set on, that's the feature that's coming back into play. So that's actually where they are. Pretty rare that we do this in the daytime. As far as the wires, they're pretty well hidden. There's 3 strips up on the tank. You know what? Let's do another video on this. All right, MEtricoil.com. I think we covered everything. We're gonna make 2 more videos today. We're gonna do a GPS video, and we're gonna do this LED video. So y'all look for that. Subscribe if you hadn't ever subscribed. I'd love to hit 1,000 members or 1,000 subscribers. You know, I don't make any money on this. I don't think I'll ever really make any money, but it would be nice to hit the 1,000 mark. All right, guys. Voyager, can't beat them. If you'll put a little bit of money in these things, you'll have a great bike. The only thing that Harley's going to have a Voyager beat is power. Typically, there's no kits available really for this other than air kits. But those engines, they're going to last forever on these things. And there's so many of these out. Parts are just readily available. Low mileage parts. They started this bike in 2009. They're still making it in 25. Got a lot of parts out there. Alright, guys. That's it. We're going to do those other 2 videos. Look for them. Alright, MEtricoil.com. Go get some oil, guys. Go get some AMS oil. Appreciate it.